All right, so today we're going to be taking a look at my way too early Big 12 conference power rankings going into the next season. Now, these are obviously subject to change. You know what I mean? Whether somebody leaves in the transfer portal come spring ball, whether one of these coaches takes the UCLA job, you never know what's going to happen. The dominoes kind of happen all off season now. You look back to last year, for example, Malik Murphy had a good spring ball game, Texas backup quarterback. Bunch of programs reached out to him. That can always happen, and then they'll transfer out. You never know what will happen. But we've got some turnover here in the Big 12. You got Oklahoma and Texas leaving. You're adding a few Pac-12 teams. So the top is for the taking. I mean, Oklahoma's kind of ran this conference the last 20 years, and then Texas every now and then has been successful as well. But let's go ahead and get into this, shall we? All right, so starting at the bottom here. Number 16 is Cincinnati. All right. Cincinnati really had a bad first year in the Big 12. Scott Satterfield, their new head coach last season, came over from Louisville and really wasn't a very inspirational hire. You lost Luke Fickell, which was kind of your dude that got you to the playoff. And you made that jump up, to the Power 5 level and didn't go very well. I think this Scott Satterfield's last year probably is going to get fired after this year because I don't really see them getting much better this year. Number 15, Arizona State. All right, similar situation. They're just not very good right now. They don't really have a lot to offer. I think there is room for growth for Arizona State. You think back to a little bit ago, they were kind of a top 25 team-ish at one point, when they had Jalon Daniels. But, yeah, at the moment, it's not looking very good. Number 14, Houston. All right. They've got a new head coach, Willie Fritz, coming over from Tulane. He's a very good head coach. Proven track record everywhere he's been, has won in Houston, actually, at Sam Houston State before. And I think he'll get things on the right track. I just don't think it's going to be year one. So I think he's probably going to struggle this first year because really Dana Holgorsen just didn't leave him too much to work with. I think he'll get things on the right track, like I said, in a year or two, but I don't think it's going to be a year one turnaround type of thing. Number 13, BYU. All right, so they could move up a little bit. I'm a fan of their coach, Sitake. He's won ball games at BYU previously. Last year, not really, though. If he gets the right guys in, though, usually at BYU, you see them have an impact quarterback. And if they have that impact quarterback, they can kind of make a competitive run, kind of like a top 25-ish team. Will that happen this year? I don't know. I don't think so, but you never know. Number 12, Baylor. All right, Dave Aranda, their head coach, kind of a weird fall from grace here. You get to the Big 12 championship year one when he came over as head coach, and then it's just been worse and worse each year. And really, it seems like he's probably coaching his last year here. Probably going to get fired after this season. Who'll be taking over at Baylor? I don't know. Maybe GJ Kinney, Texas State head coach. I don't know. Now, Baylor does have an interesting offseason. They brought in DeQuan Finn from Toledo, the quarterback. I'm a real big fan of his, and I think he's pretty good. So Baylor could shoot up this list and shock me. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility, but at the moment, I'm not the biggest believer in Dave Aranda, so I don't see that happening. All right, number 11, TCU. All right, kind of a weird fall from grace here as well. TCU, I think back to a couple years, they made that nice run with Max Duggan to the championship, get blown out, but they lose a bunch of guys after that year. And this past season, very disappointing. They actually, they lost in the preseason to one of the teams we'll get to here in a second, which wasn't very good, Colorado. TCU, we'll see. Sonny Dykes, he's won ball games previously, and like I said, even a couple years ago, they made the freaking championship for crying out loud. But last year, definitely not the case. Now, will they improve from last year? I think they will. It's kind of hard to be that bad again because they do have some talent. But we'll see. They're going to have to do a lot better in the coaching department and just in acquiring talent department. Number 10, Colorado. All right, Colorado, I think will be better than they were this last season. Obviously, like I said, they beat TCU last season, and Colorado has a lot coming back. Theirs is going to come down to the trenches. They were kind of, I won't say depleted, but they just weren't up to par in that department last year. Shedeur Sanders is legit. He's a round one quarterback next year probably. So he's legit, but the talent around him, not so much. It's kind of lacking there. Not obviously talking about Travis Hunter, but kind of everybody else, they're lacking a little bit. So we'll see. Deion can get talent there, I think. I don't know how good of a coach he is if they just aren't more talented than another team. I'm not sure. We haven't seen him have success when he hasn't just been the most talented team in the country, looking at his other stops as a head coach. So we'll see what happens. But Colorado, definitely room for growth, but I'm still a little skeptical. Number 9, UCF. All right, Gus Malzahn. They kind of had an iffy year, kind of turned it on at some points, and then other times they weren't very good. You've got KJ Jefferson coming in at quarterback from Arkansas. Gus Malzahn has won ball games before and can win at UCF. And UCF probably should be pretty good this year, I think. I think they'll be improved as far as record-wise. So I think they'll have a good year, but they could move up quite a bit depending on how everything falls. I think they're going to be competitive in most of their games, and they're not just overmatched or anything now in the Big 12. Number 8, Iowa State. All right, always a tough out, always a competitive team. They might not win the Big 12 championship, but they're going to be in there in the conversation for a top 5 team every year in the Big 12. Now, Matt Campbell, who could he be on the UCLA job board coaching search? I don't know. So you never know if he'll leave, but Iowa State should be kind of where they usually are. Probably 8, 9, 7 wins, somewhere in that range. They'll upset some teams they shouldn't beat, and then they'll lose to some teams maybe that they shouldn't. You know what I mean? So they'll be competitive, a team you don't want to play, but also I don't think they're going to win the Big 12. Number 7, Texas Tech. Kind of a strange year this past season for Texas Tech. I thought they would have been in the Big 12 championship if you would have asked me preseason. I think I had them in my preseason top 25 last year, and really just it didn't happen for them. So sometimes you'll see that happen. You have a team high on your radar, they disappoint, and then the next season is when they kind of turn it on. So that might be the case here with Texas Tech. We'll see. I think they'll kind of be an 8-ish, 9-win team probably. I haven't looked at their schedule too in-depth yet to just give you that straight analysis. I'll do that at a later time, but should be a competitive out. If all falls right, be a top 25 team, but at the moment, I don't know. All right, number 6, Kansas. All right, so Lance Leipold is a really good head coach. This is dependent on Daniels, all right, their quarterback. He has shown to be an injury-prone quarterback, all right, and now Jason Bean's gone, so you don't got that option to fall back on to win you ball games. So if Daniels is healthy, Kansas is really going to move up this list. But if not, which is more likely than not, I hate to say that, but he's probably going to get hurt. Who's your backup quarterback? Like I said, Bean's gone to bail you out, so I don't know what happens. Kansas is probably going to move up or down this list in the long run. If Daniel stays healthy, they'll be a top 4 team. If he's not, they'll probably drop below number 10 or something, but we'll see. Hopefully he can stay healthy, though. All right, top 5. Number 5, Arizona, the team I really don't know how to rank. Their head coach, Jedd Fisch, left to take the Washington job, but a lot of the players stayed. So they bring in Brent Brennan from San Jose State. If Jedd Fisch was the coach for Arizona, they'd probably be number 1 on this list. So I don't really know how to read this team. Like I said, you've got a lot of the same players from that team that I had my preseason top 15, actually. But you got a different coaching staff now. So how is that going to look? How are they going to utilize Fifita the same way? I don't know. So Arizona is probably the team that could move up or down the list the most. If they can capitalize on everything from last year, they'll be in the Big 12 championship probably, But if not, I don't know where they're going to be because they are talented, but at the same time, different coaching staff. Number 4, Kansas State. All right, Chris Kleiman's always going to have Kansas State in the Big 12 championship hunt. Will Howard's gone. You've got Avery Johnson at quarterback now. He got a lot of reps this year, though. I think they will be good. Could be in the Big 12 championship if all falls right, but either way, your floor is probably 8 wins. They're going to definitely win ball games. They're going to challenge for the Big 12 championship. They're going to be in the hunt, but are they as talented as some of the teams above them? That I don't know. All right, number 3, West Virginia. All right, so how quickly things turn around. We look back to last year, Neil Brown, West Virginia coach, is on the hot seat and then has a really good year this past season. I think 8 wins. Their quarterback, Garrett Green, one of the best players in the Big 12 now. Really one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, in my opinion. Kind of a good dual threat guy and really entertaining to watch. And West Virginia, I think, is going to challenge for the Big 12 championship this year. The top 2 teams are going to be the guys, in my opinion, and also Kansas State, Arizona, and Kansas might have something to say about that as well. But West Virginia definitely has a chance here. If all falls right for Garrett Green, for Neil Brown, I think West Virginia should challenge for that title and really should shock some people this year looking at the early win-loss predictions. All right, number 2, Utah. All right. Utah, disappointing year this year, but you have Cam Rising coming back, former Texas transfer, if you don't remember. But they've lost some other pieces, like their running back, Jackson, transferred out to Arkansas. A really strange move there, in my opinion. But you've got arguably, I would say, the best player in the Big 12 quarterback-wise, and Cam Rising, definitely the most experienced. He's won a lot of ball games, been to multiple Rose Bowls, won Pac-12 championships. Cam Rising is legit. And you've got him back now. If he's healthy, Utah could make a run this year to the playoff and could end up getting you 2 playoff teams from the Big 12. I don't know if that'll happen or not, but Utah definitely set up for success this year. But at number 1, I have Oklahoma State. All right, they've got almost all their team coming back from last year. Ollie Gordon, Alan Bowman. Ollie Gordon might challenge for the Heisman this year. We'll see. They're running back. Weird year for Oklahoma State. They made the Big 12 championship, but they had games where they got blown out by UCF that just didn't make sense, like 30-0. It was just weird season. Mike Gundy, one of the best coaches in the nation, I'd say. Him and Whittingham from Utah, definitely both up there. But Oklahoma State, looking at their schedule, I think they might actually go undefeated, to be honest with you. And I think my way too early college football playoff predictions, I had them as like a top 3 seed because, the 4 highest rated conference champions now get a top 4 seed in the playoff. I think that they are capable of doing that. We'll see. I think they should be really good this year, should be improved. Like I said, you got a lot of the main pieces from last year's team coming back. As bad as last year was, inconsistency-wise, they did make the Big 12 championship. So overall, a pretty good year. You know what I mean? So I think Oklahoma State should challenge for the Big 12 championship, and I think they'll win it. But those are my rankings. Who would you move up? Who would you move down? Or just let me know your rankings. Comment down below. Make sure to like this video. Most importantly,